Shalom, this is Amonute Tayac of Piscataway, your friendly neighborhood Shuman Sophia Spiritualite, the AmaruKhan Miriyam. And we are here to have a discussion about Gideon's faith and how he exercised his faith. It is my belief and understanding and absolute suggestion that we govern ourselves very much in the manner that Gideon did. And I don't think it's super complicated or hard or, a bunch of stuff involved in it, but we want to dissect his story and we want to emulate the ways that he was able to accomplish his very, very scary task. I feel like this version of how he particularly carried himself is the one that is the easiest for us to identify with as as women, but also like it gives explicit instructions. And so we're just going to go over the story. I was going to add some more stuff to this, but I kind of want to get it done because it's one of those things that needs to be completed before the end of the month. So we're in Judges 6, and this is the Q Bible, which is the Hebrew transliteration, so we can see all of the, all of the words, right? So we're going to start at the beginning of chapter 6. So we're going to read chapter 6, chapter 7, and chapter 8. And if there's places we need to stop and look up the words, we'll do that. And hopefully this won't take too long. So this is Judges chapter 6. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of Yahweh, and Yahweh delivered them into the hand of Midian 7 years. And the hand of Midian prevailed against Israel, and because of the Midian and because of the Midian, the children of Israel made them dens, the dens which are in the mountains, and caves and strongholds. What? Hold on. And the hand of the Midian prevailed against Israel, and because of the Midian, the children of Israel made them the dens which are in the mountains, and the caves and the strongholds. The children of Israel built the dens and the caves and the strongholds. Holy smokes. Y'all ever think about that? Like, who made these caves that these people was in? Who made the caves that the sons of Lot lived in? It says it right here. It was the children of Israel made the caves and the dens and the strongholds that the children of Midian, the Midianites, lived in. All of these caves that you see around here was built by the children of Israel. Holy smokes. Wow. Okay, verse 3. That's only verse 2. And so it was when Israel had sown that the Midian came up, and the Amalekim, I guess Amalekites, and the children of the east, even they came up against them. And they encamped against them and destroyed the increase of the earth, till thou come unto Azza and left. No sustenance for Israel, neither sheep, nor ox, nor ass. This is what this means. Israel was delivered into the hands of the Midianites as slaves. The Israelites do what they did. They came and they brought increase. They built caves. They turned a place that was desolate into a place that was thriving. Okay? There's only one group of people that does that, by the way. One. Maybe more than one, I won't say that, but it's at least one group of people who does it. The ones who also do it are related to that group of people, if they're not the same people, just different shades. So as a result of the increase that Israel had brought in for the Midianites, these other groups of people came in and they decided they was going to fight them. Okay, they came from the east, where the east is the west, depending on. Remember, the far east. The far east could also is China. If we're talking about something that happened in America, the east is China. Okay, which would make sense. So now you can see how this stuff may have been what happened in Yehuda, Utah, which also means that these Hopi people, tying into my Hopi video, that the Hopi people might be the Midianites. Oh Lord. Okay, for verse 5. For they came up with their cattle and their tents, And they came as grasshoppers for multitude, for both they and their camels were without number, and they entered into the land to destroy it. And Israel was greatly impoverished because of the Midian and the children, because of Midian. And the children of Israel cried unto Yahweh. And it came to pass, when the children of Israel cried unto Yahweh because of the Midianites, that Yahweh sent a prophet unto the children of Israel, which said unto them, Thus saith Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, I brought you up from Mixraim, and brought you forth out of the house of bondage. I delivered you out of the hand of the Mixraim, and out of the hand of all that oppressed you, and drave them out from before you, and gave you their land. And I said unto you, I am Yahweh your Elohim. Fear not the Elohim, small gods of the Amorites, in whose land ye dwell. But ye have not obeyed my voice. So he said, listen, I am your God. You are assigned to me. Don't engage in these other people's gods. Only worship me. I don't know why this is so difficult. Everybody can worship whatever God they got. The ones that's theirs, they can worship them. You can't worship all these other gods. I am your God. I'm the big G God. You got to worship me. I'm the great Jehovah. You got to worship me. You can't be worshiping these other little G gods. That's what he's saying. And they're not listening. Verse 11. And there came an angel of Yahweh and sat under an oak, which was in Ophrah, that pertained unto Joas, the Adversary, and his son Gideon. What does that mean? The Adversary. Let's see. We're going to take a Adversary means my father is help, one of the family of Abiezer, descendant of Manasseh. Okay, so he was from Manasseh. Abiezerite. Okay, that's interesting. All right. This is the only problem with this. When you click one, then in order to get it out the way, you got to click something else. Okay. Oh, so an Abizrite, a tribe from Manasseh, from Joseph, okay? And his son Gideon threshed wheat by the winepress to hide it from the Midianites, okay? And the angel of Yahweh appeared unto him and said unto him, Yahweh is with thee, thou mighty man of valor. And Gideon said unto him, O my Adon, which I think means God. Let's just firm stronghold, Lord, Master. Oh my Lord, basically. Yeah, oh my Lord. Because that was a title. Let me go this one. All right. If Yahweh be with us, why then is all this befallen us? And where be all his miracles which our fathers told us of, saying, Did not Yahweh bring us up from Mixraim? But now Yahweh hath forsaken us, and delivered us into the hands of the Midianites. And Yahweh looked upon him and said, Go in this thy might, and thou shalt save Israel from the hand of Midianites. Have I not sent thee? And he said unto him, O Yahweh, wherewith shall I save Israel? Behold, my family is poor in Manasseh, and I am least in my father's house. And Yahweh said unto him, Surely I will be with thee, and thou shalt smite the Midianites as one man. And he said unto him, If now I have found grace in thy sight, then show me a sign that thou talkest with me. Listen, very first thing, he says, okay, we're going to just pause right here for a minute and understand. Make sure we understand. We got to slow down when we read this story. Gideon is talking with an angel. The angel intercedes for him, takes him directly to the Father. Now Gideon is talking with the Father. Okay? The Elohim, the Yahweh. Okay? As he's talking with the Father is giving him the message, You are the mighty man of valor. You are the one who's going to do this. You're going to do that. And what does Gideon say? Hey, I understand, but look at our condition. We know what you did for our fathers, but we don't know nothing about that. We haven't seen it. We've been delivered into this poverty, and that's probably true. He had never probably seen these miracles that so called, had been done. He heard about them. His family always talked about them, but they wasn't seeing them. So what did he say? I need a sign. If I have found grace in thy sight, verse 17, then show me a sign that thou talkest with me. He wanted a sign that, this is not a sign to go out and do the work. This is like, no, prove that I'm talking to God first. Let me ensure I got a correct communication, right? Let me ensure that that's real. Okay. Verse 18, depart not hence, I pray thee, until I come unto thee, and bring forth my present, and set it before thee. And he said, I will tarry until thou come again. So the angel tells him to just hold on until I can bring an offering. That's what he's going to get. Verse 19. And Gideon went in and made, so he tells the angel, stay here so I can go get the offering. And Gideon went in and made ready a kid and unleavened cakes and of an ephah of flour. The flesh he put in a basket, and he put the broth in a pot, and he brought it out unto him under the yoke and presented it to the angel. Okay, so he went in, and remember, flour wards off the gods. Oh my goodness, you got to have this understanding. Wheat flour, it says an ephah of flour. That must mean wheat. Hold on, let's look. I don't know what flour. It doesn't say what flour. Maybe he mixed all the flours up. But we know, but long story short, that code word for flour is that it is talking about, let's just say that's a code word. When they say flour, they're getting ready to determine whether that is the real person or not. That is, if that person can be swayed or influenced by these different flours, the barley flour, the sorghum flour, or the wheat flour. It is removing any negativity that could be towards them. That's when we're just going to take that as a code word. He is about to test him by seeing if he can deal with these different things. And the angel of Elohim, verse 20, and the angel of Elohim said unto him, take the flesh of the unleavened cakes and lay them upon this rock and pour out the broth. And he did so. Then the angel of Yahweh put forth the end of the staff that was in his hand. Pause. Remember I said the rod and the staff, they comfort you. The rod is the wand, and the staff is the big stick. Okay. This is what Moses used to take out all those other sorcerers. I believe it was his rod. It was Aaron's rod. So yeah, that's what that is. The magic comes out the end of the rod. Okay. All right, let's keep going. Then I'm back at 21. Then the angel of Yahweh put forth the end of the staff that was in his hand and touched the flesh and the unleavened cakes. And there rose up a fire out of a rock and consumed the flesh and the unleavened cakes. The angel of Yahweh departed out of his sight. Wow. So he extended his the rod, tapped the rock, the whole thing caught on fire, consumed the offering. And when Gideon perceived that he was an angel of Yahweh, Gideon said, alas, O Adonai Yahweh, for because I have seen an angel of Yahweh face to face. And Yahweh said unto him, peace be unto thee, fear not, thou shalt not die. Then Gideon built an altar there unto Yahweh and called it Yahweh Shalom, Unto this day it is yet in Ophrah of the Avri Israel, talking about the Ephraim, the tribe of Manasseh. What is Ophrah? Sounds a lot like Oprah. Ovra, feminine, close to talking about Oprah. They building female fawn. Oprah. 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 They don't know what this word means. Except it's the female version of H6208, which is Ophrah, deer, fawn, stag, young hart. So they built a altar. Anyway, by the deer. Okay, let's keep going. Sorry, I got distracted a little bit. I didn't get. All right. And Gideon, we already read that. Verse 25. And it came to pass the same night that Yahweh said unto him, Take thy father's young bullock, even the second bullock of the 7 years old, and throw down the altar of Baal that thy father hath, and cut down the grove that is by it, and build an altar unto Yahweh thy Elohim upon the top of this rock, in the ordered place, and take the second bullock, and offer a burnt sacrifice with the wood of the grove thou shalt cut down. So he gave him a very specific instruction to do. So then Gideon, he said, take down your father's altar to Baal, and take down take down your father's altar, and then take down the big altar that they have to this God. Okay. Then Gideon took 10 men, this is verse 27, of his servants, and did as Yahweh said unto him. And so it was, because he feared his father's household and the men of the city, that he could not do it by day, that he did it by night. Let me see what that word night means. Lael, night, as opposed to day, of gloom, protective shadow. You know, it also makes me think he might have did it in the spirit realm. You know what I mean? That whole term night may not mean, I don't know. Let's just put a pin in that. Verse 29. Oh, I need to read verse 28. Hold on. All right. Verse 28. And when the men of the city arose early in the morning, and behold, the altar of Baal was cast down, and the grove was cut down that was by it, and the second bullock was offered upon the altar that was built. And they said one to another, Who hath done this thing? And when they inquired and asked, they said, Gideon, the son of Joash, has done this thing. Then the men of the city said unto Joash, Bring thy son, that he may die, because he hath cast down the altar of Baal, and because he hath cut down the grove that was by it. And Joash said unto all that stood against him, Will ye plead for Baal? Will ye save him? He that will plead for him, let him be put to death while it is yet morning. If he be an Elohim, let him plead for himself, because one hath cast down his altar. So what he's saying here is that if Baal is a real God, let him come and handle this himself. Let Baal be the one to take to harm what's his face Gideon for what he has done, because we all know what Jehovah does when you mess with his people. He comes and he will tear you down himself. He don't have to send in humans to do the work of the gods. And this is the difference in, this is the real thing we got to understand. The father and the mother, they don't got to send in people to do their work. They will do it themselves. You don't have to, they don't need us to avenge them. They can avenge themselves just fine. And that's what Joaz was telling these people. If Baal is a real God, let him come and avenge himself. Why is it that he can't come and avenge himself? He will take out Gideon himself if he can. If he can. Why won't y'all let and see if he can? Isn't that what y'all supposed to do? This y'all God that y'all serve. Let him come and take Gideon out by his own hand. That's what Joaz said. And I think that's exactly how if you serve this God, let them come and take us out by their own hand. Why are you getting involved as a human, getting involved in the business of the gods? You're supposed to be out of their business. Therefore, verse 32, therefore on that day he called him Jerubbaal, saying, let Baal plead against him, because he hath thrown down his altar. And that's literally what Jerubbaal means. It means, hey, let Baal come and do this. Let Baal plead against him. Let Baal come and punish him. If he's a real God, he should be able to do that. All right, verse 33. Then all the Midianites and Amalekites said, and the children of the east were gathered together and went over and pitched in the valley of Israel. But the Spirit of Yahweh came upon Gideon, and he blew a trumpet, and Adversary was gathered after him. And he sent messengers throughout all Manasseh, who also gathered after him. And he sent messengers to Asher and to Zebulun and to Naphtali, and they came up to meet them. And Gideon said unto Elohim, if thou wilt save Israel by mine hand, as thou hast said, behold, I will put a fleece of wool in the... Now listen, pause. I want y'all to understand this. Another step is getting ready to be made. This man is making demands. Look, if you want me to... Every step, look, if you want me to do this, I need some proof. Listen to what he asked for. Like, he's not moving for. He gathered all those people together and he said, look, if you want me to do this, you're going to have to send me some proof. After he gathered all the people together. Ain't that crazy? Okay, verse 37. Behold, I will put a fleece wool in the floor, and if the dew be on the fleece only, and it be dry upon all the earth, then I shall know that thou wilt save Israel by mine hand, as thou hast said. And it was so, for he rose up early on the morrow, and thrust the fleece together, and wringed the dew out of the fleece, and a bowl full of water. So he wringed it out. It was a bowl full of water. That was day one. And Gideon said unto Elohim, let not thy anger be hot against me, and I will speak but once. Let me prove, I pray thee, this once with the fleece. Let now be dry only upon the fleece, and upon all the ground let there be dew. And Elohim did so that night, for it was dry upon the fleece only, and there was dew on all the ground. So understand what happened here and why he did it twice. This is really important. This is really important to understand. The first time he said, let the rag be wet and now remember, he was a thrasher. He worked on the thrashing floor. The thrashing floor is working with this wool and this fleece. This was his job. He knew wool. He knew fleece. That's why he had some. This is what he did. He dealt with the wool and the fleece to try to make some money for his family. This is what he did, okay? This was his area of expertise. He asked something that he knew was impossible. Let the wool be wet and everything around it dry. Then let everything around it be dry and let the wool be wet. Understand that he was asking for the father to show proof and the mother to show proof separately. That's what that was. It wasn't, oh, I'm asking God twice. No, he asked the father, Elohim, and then he asked the mother, Elohim. And he didn't ask him to do it. He didn't know what order. He didn't say, okay, the father Elohim do this, the mother Elohim do that. Maybe there's another version of the Bible that will clear that up for people. But that's what he asked, for the father Elohim to show proof and the mother Elohim to show proof. That's why they did it, and they weren't upset with him. He was asking for, because what they knew is that the divine feminine was the one who did a lot of the stuff for them. They had the actual stories of what happened to pass to them. He wasn't acting on something he read in the Bible in some other book. No, he's going off his family stories, which are very well preserved. So he said, okay, I want to know that I'm working with both sides. Everybody, the whole of heaven agrees. They didn't have a Trinity at this time. They had father and mother. So he said, hey, I need the father to show proof and I need the mother to show proof. And that's how we have to do. We ask Jehovah to show proof, ask Sophia to show proof. Everybody can show proof. No one would be upset with that, especially when we are engaging in this Gideon-like mentality. That is perfectly fine. You should be able to ask for proof. It shouldn't be an issue. All right, let's go on to chapter 7. Okay. All right. Then Yerubbaal, this is the one, Gideon, who is Gideon, and all the people that were with him rose up early and pitched beside the well of Kerod, so that the hosts of the Midian were on the north side of them by the hill of Moreh in the valley. And Yahweh said unto Gideon, the people that are with thee are too many for me to give the Midianites into their hands, lest Israel vaunt themselves against me, saying, mine own hand has saved me. Pause. He literally says you have too many people because then your people are going to believe that they saved themselves and they won't turn back to me. That is, our people are terrible. This is why, why it's one person on the internet, me or the Hebrew Rose of Jericho by herself. This is why it's one random person on the internet yelling and screaming at the top of their lungs with, less than 100,000 followers. This is why it's like this, because if it was a big group of us, the people wouldn't turn back to Israel. If it was a big group of people who understand the tarot spiral, they would reject it. They would be like, nah, y'all was working together. It was something like this, whatever. This is what they would do. So, this is why it's stuff that you're doing that it's only you. Because otherwise, your people will say, oh, we did this. We did this by our hand. It was us and our might that did this. Which is the absolute not right thing. It's an absolute false statement. All right. Verse 3. Now therefore, go to proclaim in the ears of the people, saying, whosoever is fearful and afraid, let him return and depart early from the Mount of Gilead, and there returned the people 20 and 2,000 that had here remained 10,000. Okay, so we went from 22,000 down to 10,000. Now remember, he only called in the tribe of Manasseh, the tribe of Benjamin, and the tribe of Ephraim. He didn't. He said Naphtali. He called in 4. Naphtali, Manasseh, and Benjamin, I think. He was only 3 tribes. He only called in 3 tribes. He didn't call the fighters, which we'll see in the next chapter. He didn't call the fighters. He called these 3 tribes. That was it. And Yahweh said unto Gideon, the people are yet too many. Bring them down unto the water, and I will try them for thee. And I will try them for thee there. And it shall be that of whom I say unto thee, this shall go with thee, the same shall go with thee. And whomsoever I say unto thee, this shall not go with thee, the same shall not go. So basically, this is a test also for Gideon. Are you going to follow my instructions? I'm going to tell you who to bring and who not to bring. Are you going to say, are you going to follow the instructions or not? Again, just like Gideon asked Yahweh for proof, Yahweh is now turning around and asked Gideon for proof that he's going to listen. Here we go. So he brought down the people unto the water, and Yahweh said unto Gideon, everyone that lappeth of the water with his tongue like a dog lappeth, him shalt thou set by himself. Likewise, everyone that boweth down upon his knees to drink. So either the ones who lap down or the ones who bow down, okay? And the number of them that lapped, putting their hand to their mouth, were 300 men. But all of the rest of the people bowed down upon their knees to drink water. And Yahweh said unto Gideon, By the 300 men that lapped, I will save you, and deliver the Midianites into thine hand. And let all the other people go, every man into his place. So send everybody else home. So the people took their victuals in their hand and their trumpets, and he sent all the rest of Israel, every what is Vic okay, I'll finish this. And he sent every man unto his tent, and retained those 300 men. And the host of Midian was beneath him in the valley. Let's see what victuals. Provision food. Okay, so they took their food with them. All right, let me get this out of the way. All right. So they took their food and their trumpets. That was it. Verse 9. And it came to pass the same night that Yahweh said unto him, Arise, get thee down unto the host, for I have delivered it into thine hand. But if thou fear to go down with Purah thy servant down to the host. So he even said, look, Gideon, go down there by yourself. But if you're afraid to go by yourself, take your servant with you, as to support you. And thou shalt hear, verse 11, and thou shalt hear what they say. And afterward shall thine hands be strengthened to go down unto the host. Then he went down with Purah. So Gideon was scared. He was like, oh yeah, I'm going to take my servant. Come on, let's go. I don't have to go by myself. With Purah his servant unto the outside of the armed men that were in the host. And the Midianites and the Amalekites and all the children of the east lay along the valley like grasshoppers for the multitude, and their camels were without number as the sand by the sea side for multitude. Is a lot of people and a lot of animals. When Gideon was come, behold, there was a man that told a dream unto his fellow, and said, Behold, I dreamed a dream, and lo, a cake of barley bread tumbled into the host of Midian, and came unto a tent, and smote it, that it fell, and overturned it, that the tent lay along. The cake of barley did that? Listen. What is barley for? Hold on, let me look that up. I want to make sure I say the right thing, because I be forgetting. I want to get it right. Here we go. And I it's hard to remember. I probably need to just write it down. Here we go. Barley is for dissolving charms. So dissolving witchcraft. Okay. So these people, so that also tells us that the Amalekites and the Midianites were doing witchcraft. They were doing witchcraft. Okay? They were doing witchcraft. They were cursing them with their mouths. And it also is proof that the Midianites and the Amalekites were not working with gods. They were just casting spells. Okay? So verse 14. And his fellow answered and said, This is nothing else save the sword of Gideon, of the son of Joash, a man of Israel, for into his hand hath Elohim delivered Midian and all the hosts. So they already know, oh, he delivered us to their hands. We're going to die for these people. And it was so, when Gideon heard the telling of the dream and the interpretation thereof, he worshipped and returned into the host of Israel and said, Arise, for Yahweh hath delivered into your hand the host of the Midian. Listen, the battle was over before Gideon even showed up to the Midianites. The battle was over. In their mind, they had already been, the seed of discontent had already been sowed with this man in his dream. And they all knew what barley meant. They were all doing witchcraft. That's why I said into the tents. That's where they was probably doing the witchcraft. And the barley, it got them out of there. So again, you have the proof in advance. Not only do you have the proof in advance before you even take the step, you have the your opponents freaking out. You have the proof. You've heard the dream. So somebody on the other side heard the dream. They knew what it meant. So you don't have to, does my enemy know what these things? Yeah, they know what it means. Every bit of it. They know. They have prophecies. They have dreams. They know exactly what this stuff means. When you show up You are their worst nightmare because they know that, hey, they've been delivered. Verse 16, and he divided the 300 men into 3 companies, and he put a trumpet in every man's hand with empty pitchers, which is glasses, like glass, and lamps within the pitchers. So he put lights like a candle inside a glass jar. So the whole concept that the Hebrew Rose of Jericho was talking about with the glass jars, that's exactly true. They put a light, a candle inside of a glass jar. That's what they did. Okay? Verse 17. And he said unto them, look on me and do likewise. And behold, when I come to the outside of the camp, it shall be that as I do, so shall ye do. And when I blow with a trumpet, and all that are with me, then blow ye the trumpets also on every side of all the camp, and say, the sword of Yahweh and of Gideon. That's it. The sword of Yahweh and of Gideon. All right, verse 19. So Gideon and the 300 men that were with him came unto the outside of the camp in the beginning of the middle watch, which is like 3 a.m. They had, oh no, that's the last watch. We're talking about midnight. So it came to him at midnight. Probably 1 o'clock, probably. That's important. The beginning of the middle watch. Let me see. What is the... Why did it do this? Let me see. All right, we'll have to look and see what the middle watch is. I don't know what time that is, but that's important. This is when they attacked them at the middle watch. All right. All right. Verse 19. Oh, we already read verse 19. Well, I stopped at middle watch. And let me start with the top of verse 19. So Gideon and the 100 men that were with him, now remember, he divided these 300 men into 3 groups, that were with him came unto the outside of the camp in the beginning of the middle watch. And they had but newly set the watch, and they blew the trumpets and brake the pitchers that were in their hands. They broke the pitchers that had the lights in them. And the 3 companies blew the trumpets and brake the pitchers and held the lamps in their left hands and the trumpets in their right hands to blow withal. They cried, the sword of Yahweh and of Gideon. So, I mean, this is very, very specific. We have to, break down how we use this information later, but this is all so specific. Oh, man. Sorry, y'all. All right. All right, verse 21. And they stood, every man in his place round the camp, and all the host ran and cried and fled. And the 300 blew the trumpets, and Yahweh set every man's sword against his fellow. They didn't even kill these people, even throughout all the host. And the host fled to Bethsaida in Exerat, and to the border of Aver unto the Tabit. Listen, because those men, see, this is why it was from Jehovah, the great, and the mother God, because this thing was set up. There was no karmic residual stuff from this, because all those people they didn't take swords. They took lights, a glass with a candle in it. They blew the horns and they smashed the candles. There was no interaction of those people with the other people at all whatsoever. None whatsoever. So what's the karma on that? What's the karmic debt on that? You didn't kill that person. As a matter of fact, only thing you did was blow your horn at them in the middle of the night and smash a candle. So what's the karmic debt on that? See, this is how you know the Most High, God, Mother, and Father, they will give you stuff to do that's not going to cause you to gain a ton of karmic debt. In this case, when we're in the season of Gideon, this is how it'll work. They'll tell you to do stuff that's not going to bring in a bunch of karmic debt to you. Getting on the internet, revealing their secrets, there's no karmic debt in that. All I'm doing is asking a question. Hey, if y'all are the real Hopi, somebody needs to come out right now and explain your prophecy. What is this prophecy? Not, oh, I got to read in the book, I got to pay for it. No, one of your elders should be able to come out and explain it. If it's really your prophecy, let's hear it so that we can interpret it. See if y'all interpreting it wrong. It's like they don't want us to know what it is because they know we're going to interpret it properly. All right. And the men of Israel gathered themselves together out of Naphtali and out of Asher and out of Manasseh and pursued after the Midianites. And Gideon sent messengers throughout all the mount of Ephraim, saying, come down against the Midianites and take before them the waters unto Bedbarah and Yarden. Then the men of Ephraim gathered themselves together and took the waters unto Bedbarah and Yarden. And they took 2 princes of the Midianites, Oreb and Zeev, and they slew Oreb upon the rock Oreb, and Zeev they slew at the winepress of Zeev, and pursued the Midian, and brought the heads of Oreb and Zeev to Gideon on the other side of Yarden. Okay, so they took out their top 2 princes who was, had the stuff named after them. Meanwhile, they're thieving. Okay, we're almost done with this. All right. And the men of Ephraim, this is chapter 8, verse 1. And the men of Ephraim said unto him, why hast thou served us thus, that thou callest us not when thou wentest to fight the Midianites? And they chid him sharply. And he said unto them, what have I done now in comparison of you? Is not the gleaning of grapes of Ephraim better than the vintage of Adversary? Elohim hath delivered into your hands the princes of Midian, Oreb, and Zeev. And what was I able to do in comparison to you? Then their anger was abated toward him when he had said that. And I'm going to stop here. Listen, I want y'all to understand what that means. The tribe of Ephraim was pissed off. Hey, you took these 300 men and you went and started this battle without us. Why didn't you come and get us? And what he said, well, y'all took out the princes. What did I do compared to y'all? Boom. Let the people who need the recognition get the recognition. It doesn't matter how the story ends. It doesn't matter who is the one who does the taking out, so long as they're taken out. And the tribe of Ephraim gets to keep their pride because the Most High will call them at a certain time and let them do their part. But their part wasn't the part that Gideon did. Gideon had a different part. And that's what our people don't understand. Everybody got a different part. When it's time for somebody to come in and chop some heads off, it's going to happen. This is the same thing that happened in my regression. It wasn't my part to take these people out. Whoever's part that is, when it's time for them to do it, they're going to do it. But it was not my part to do that. I had to control myself so that I didn't. But the point of the matter is that wasn't my part. Whatever my part is the part that I need to do. Whoever knocking the heads off part is, that's what they need to do. You don't have to get involved in what they have to do. And that's how it is. You do your part. And once you've done your part, you let that thing go. And if somebody said, well, why didn't you tell us this is what you were doing? Well, isn't what you did greater than what I did? You're the one that got the win. I don't care who takes down Oprah. I don't care who takes down these trafficking rings. I don't care who takes down these, wicked people, these demonic 9. I don't care who takes them down. Honestly, I did my part, which was blowing the shofar and smashing the jars. That's it. Somebody else got to do the other part because part's not for me to do. And if somebody asks me, well, why didn't you tell me? I'll say, well, isn't what you did greater than what I did? How you all got the trophy. I don't even have the trophy. I don't care about the trophy, but y'all got the trophy. So why don't you just focus on the part that you did? And they calm down. And there's more to the story, but I just want to stop there because that was the most important part, every single step along the way. So let's recap. Let me go over to my other screen so we can recap. Let's recap. Every step along the way, Gideon wanted proof he was dealing with an angel. That's a really important part. We want proof that we're dealing with an angel of God. Then we want proof that what we heard is what they want done. Then we need proof from the mother and the father that we have authorization to do this. Then we need confirmation that the battle has already been won before we get involved. We've got to ask for proof and confirmation every step along the way. And it's not wrong to do that. We are in the time of Gideon where we have not seen Elohim, Jehovah, the way that our forefathers have. So we have to make sure, justify, and verify everything that's going along, and don't overlook signals like flour, like like, for example, I had a dream, and in the dream, one of the dishes I bought was rice. Well, I know when I make my rice now, I'm always putting sorghum, barley, and wheat in it. So I know for a fact that I'm not dealing with people who have some kind of adverse nature to these things. That's how I can tell who I'm dealing with. We have to do those same kind of things too. So, for example, if you wanted to, do an event with your family, hey, get that flour blend and bake a cake with it. Get that rice blend and make a, quote unquote wild rice. Oh, call it it's wild rice. Oh, that sounds good. They don't know that it's purifying them on the inside, so that whatever that comes up against them won't transfer onto you, because it's bound, it's expelled, it's removed. You know what I mean? Like, these are things that we can do to protect ourselves, and to also verify and justify that we're dealing with the Father God, the Mother God. We're not dealing with some tricksters or lower level gods who have no control over us. See, because it wasn't a problem that the Midianites worship Baal. That was fine for the Midianites. That's fine for the Amalekites. Nobody was punishing them for worshiping those gods. Those were the gods assigned to them. Our people, can't worship those gods. Now, those people can also come worship our God, but we can't worship their gods. We can't take their foreign God. We just can't, because we worship the God that's on the top. It only makes sense. So hopefully, you understand a little bit about this. Hopefully you see how I read the Bible. When I see stuff, I go and investigate. Even if I read it in my regular, King James first, I read it in other versions, and I'll check out the Hebrew to see what do these words actually mean, to make sure that the way I'm reading the word is the way that the word is meant. Because a lot of times, as you see, the way they say the word is not really the way they mean the word. You know what I mean? You just want to be clear and careful and understanding of that, right? And you will find an ability to interpret the Bible more accurately and the prophecies more accurately when you read like this, okay? And there's a Hebrew version of the Bible for free online, and if you're looking into the New Testament, there's the Greek version of the Bible available online. So no matter which version you're looking at, you can get the proper version online to double check that you know what these words mean, right? And now we have new understanding of keyword for flour, and of course the keywords for barley, sorghum, and wheat. When we see those terms, we know that we know that we're dealing with people trying to prevent some kind of interference by some other god. They all the time did this to prevent interference from other gods, and we're going to get into that a little bit more at another time. So shalom everyone. I hope this video meets you well. Of course, feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe, unlike, uncomment, unshare, unsubscribe. If you have a few dollars that you can donate to our channel, my Cash App is in the description. It's Dominique Rebel. I would greatly appreciate it. Of course, if there's anything that you need from me, please don't hesitate to reach out. My email is in the description. And so shalom everyone, and we will see you in the next video.